Brown 45! Brown 45! Hot, 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 hot!
You are listening to Any Given Sunday, Australia.
Yes, hello and welcome to the Any Given Sunday Australia podcast, the number one podcast in at least 3 households, 1 studio, NFL Australia head office, American Football Australia head office, ESPN, ABC. Joining us, as always, in the western wing of his illustrious household, Danny Webb, AGSAU.
You forgot a major one there. You forgot the project. Shout out to you,
Wow,
my
I wasn't
boy.
going to bring it up straight away, but yes, you are right.
Shout out to you, my boy. Congrats.
Yeah,
National TV, baby.
I was very blinded and very tanned in that interview. It was good. We made it onto the project to support some of our mates, and hopefully that's the last that we hear of that story. But it's the start of my TV career. I'll take that. And the one man I actually did ring about some advice for said TV career at Charlie Pick. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, and I think you did well to ignore all of my advice, and it came up very well indeed. No, you were fantastic.
There's one thing I didn't ignore, which was don't laugh when they laugh, because then you look like a dickhead when it's 3 or 4 seconds later.
That's right. The delay is cruel. And people have no idea how hard it is to be there, and you're hearing them laugh at something, but by the time you hear it, they've already moved on, and you would be interrupting. It's very, very difficult, but you did. Awesome job. Awesome job.
Appreciate it. Danny, you and I have also had a massive weekend out at the Flag National Championships up in Sydney. My voice and your voices are very hoarse, so I hope we get through this.
You worked a lot harder than I did, man. I was just doing a couple of on-field little funny bits here and there, and half the time, just due to technical difficulties, I didn't really have to do too much.
You didn't do anything anyways. It was brilliant. And other people being, we'll leave that alone. All right, we had to jump on because even during that Flag Championship, I just kept handing you my phone when you were behind me because all the news that just kept dinging to my phone. And we thought we'd get on, and I've picked 5 trades to talk about. And believe you me, boys, this was bloody hard to pick which ones we're actually going to talk about. It's
been insane, an absolute frenzy. It's like the most exciting, I think, sort of like trade and free agency period in the last few years. Before we do the top 5, the other big story that, we'll probably talk about another time, but the last time we spoke about the upcoming legal tampering period, which I always thought sounded like the kind of crime would mean you can't go near a primary school. But the news that, just to drop it in, we won't get stuck into it, Kansas City Chiefs, New England Patriots, and the Washington Commanders are all facing accusations of illegal tampering. Ooh. So they have apparently been, before they were allowed to talk to players, they were doing it. So
do we have to let this grow a little bit before we can really talk about it?
Sorry?
Do we have to let it grow a little bit before we can talk about it? Or
I mean, it's in... What's it in? It's in the Daily Mail, so it must be true.
It must be true
if it's in the Daily Mail.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And before you know it, there's going to be some related upskirting pics. So,
I was about to say they were touching without looking, but you just
I'll
made
keep
that.
You posted on all of those issues if anything pops up during the podcast.
Yeah, they were touching without looking, and you've just made it a lot worse with that analogy. But, all right, the top 5 that I kind of chose out of what has happened. Danny boy, the first one, Sam Darnold to the Seahawks.
So Charlie and I were literally just talking about this off air before you got here. Real interesting year. Real interesting. So, he was doing so well at the Vikings. Maybe because he wasn't offered a multi-year deal, he didn't stay. Maybe he was only offered one because JJ McCarthy's not coming back healthy. He's coming back off a serious knee injury. He's going to have to play into form. So
he's still realistically a rookie.
And still a rookie. And the Vikings currently have one QB on their roster, which is JJ McCarthy. You'd think Sam Darnold would want to stay, be coached by Kevin O'Connell, keep on improving. He did so well, but instead he signs a 3-year, $100 million deal to go to the exploded Seahawks.
Mm.
That is a man chasing some dollars, and he's earned them. He did earn them last year, and fair enough. You got to take that money. But with JSN being the only option out there, probably wouldn't have been the team I picked.
Yeah, it could be tough sledding out in Washington State with the Seahawks. But absolutely, had one of those years. I think it would have been a very difficult decision. It was a year that it was his rebirth as a quarterback. The coaching, the situation, everything gave him his career a second chance. He could have been a backup quarterback had it not been for the year that he's just had. Sure, $100 million is very good. That will keep you very, very warm at night and cozy while you're struggling to win games with the Seahawks. But how is his career going to look beyond that 3-year period? I think is the big question, and then leaves a big hole for the Vikings as well. He was, though, you would say, he was definitely seen as the sort of the seat warmer while McCarthy was getting healthy. That was definitely the obvious plan coming out of the Vikings. So maybe he just didn't want that role. Maybe he wanted to be able to continue playing, and if he gets better and does something. But yeah, let's check in 3 years' time and see what the market is for Sam Darnold.
Getting himself another big bag
free agency then,
or not. And we also know that Aaron Rodgers is going there anyway, so he was going to be the third seat. So yeah, well, you might as well go out and get your cash. So good on him. Good on him. Number 2 hits home a little bit harder for you, Danny boy. Josh Sweat out of the Eagles and off to the Cards.
Yeah, so he was always going to be gone. I think we knew he was going to be gone whether we won the championship or not. With such a young core Eagles defense, we weren't going to have the money to be able to pay him. And he's just gone and got himself a little 4-year, $76 million deal with the Cards. The Cards do need him, in all fairness. It's probably like another piece for them to add so they get close to that playoff picture. But yeah, man, that hurt. I am going to miss. The thing I'm going to miss the most is every time he sacks someone, he does the big, wipe that sweat off that brow. And he's going to be doing it when he sacks Jalen Hurts. Sick.
That's right. It's going to really hurt when Hurts goes down. And Jalen Hurts has a real habit of when he gets sacked, it's 20 or 30 yards back. He drops back way too far when he gets sacked. He loses ground. That's going to really hurt.
Because when he gets sacked, it's not like you've just lost one down. It's like you've lost 3 downs worth of yards behind you. There's generally no coming back from that.
This one hurt me as well because he's absolutely the kind of player that the Bills need this offseason. The price tag was not as high as a lot of Bills folks expected it to be. Lots of teams, I think, would be surprised. But Jonathan Gannon was his coach a few years ago, and he has a great relationship, really learned his trade with Jonathan Gannon coaching the Cardinals now. So it's probably, he's won a couple of Super Bowls. He's ticked a lot of career boxes. He's probably looking to really enjoy the relationship he has with his coach and the situation, and maybe he just feels at home with Jonathan Gannon.
And get paid an absolute bag to do so. So why not? Good on him.
I'd get paid that to
That's
hang out
also,
with
Danny boy, the price of being good. Your room has been slaughtered this off season. So it's unfortunate, but that's what happens when you are the best.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about our defense right now.
Nah,
let's not make me cry on the podcast.
The next one is, I find, as interesting as all of them. Devontae Adams to the Ram for quite a bit of cash. But at the same time, Cooper Kupp has been cut. There's Danny Boy, we'll head to you first again. I don't feel like one or the other, they're just as good as each other in their prime. So why would you just pay Kupp instead of chasing Adams?
I honestly think they've overpaid Adams here. Let's look back at he went to the Jets so he could play with Aaron Rodgers. Yes, it was the Jets, and the Jets are the Jets, and they'll always be the Jets. But he went there to play with Aaron Rodgers, who he has history with, and we didn't see that explosion that we saw when he was with Green Bay. So he almost wasted half a year with the Raiders because he was going nowhere, and the previous year with the Raiders. Then he went to the Jets, wasted his second half of that following year. Didn't really get much done. Still got a 1,000-yard season, but as far as Adams is concerned, and as far as his giant-ass paycheck he's just been given is concerned, I reckon you could have paid Kupp for less and kept him and kept that continuity.
Well, I will push back on that and say, yeah, you could have got Kupp for less because I think Kupp is dropping in capability faster than Devontae Adams. I actually don't think Devontae Adams has slowed down that much. I don't think you can really assess what happened with the Raiders or with the Jets to decide how good Devontae Adams is right now. I think he's definitely got a lot of speed still. He's an incredible route runner, incredible catch of the ball, and by all accounts, actually has a great attitude. He is not a diva. He's an interesting cat. He's got some certain things that he likes in life. Loves a Taco Bell. Make sure there's plenty of that around. But I do think he's still got some great playing days ahead. So it's a high price tag, but I think the Rams were ready to move on from Cup, and I think they could see that if they reinvested in Cup, it was going to be diminishing returns as time goes on.
And Adams, which we saw in the show receiver, had a bit of a shoulder issue when he was at the Raiders as well, and was still taking catches. So I think it's a good point. You can't really... When he was at the Raiders, he had fucking Jimmy G was his best quarterback, so that's not much. And then, the Jets. So fair enough. I think you've swayed me there, Charles. Nice. Now, Danny boy, the only point for this next one, we're going to go straight to Charlie because it's his team. But the one point I want to put to you is if you have the opportunity to play, you've done what you've done. You're one of the best rushers in the league. I'm going to put a contract of $10 million in your back pocket, and you can play with your brother, which we know you are a very big fan of. You can go out and possibly win a championship, or we can give you a couple more million and you can go play with the Bills. So $10 million to go play with San Fran, or $12.5 to go play with the Bills. Is your brother worth $2.5 million?
I'd go play with my brother, but I'm a big family man.
Joey Bosa is not. He's picked the Bills.
Wow. Joey Bosa, questions raised over Joey Bosa's attitude towards his family.
Hates his family. Joey Bosa hates his family.
How close really, I know this isn't the question that you asked, but let's be real here. How close are the 49ers to getting back to the Super Bowl? I think
they've been
blown up this year. They have
absolutely blown up.
Absolutely plummeted. So Bosa thinks Super Bowl over brother.
Yeah, sorry. I think it's pretty simple. I think Joey Bosa watched the Niners play the Bills last season in one of the most watched snow games of all time. Nothing but highlights, none of them coming from the Niners. So I reckon he just watched that game and said, oh, those guys. I'm going to play with those guys.
What about once this is all, whatever Nick's got left, Joey says, mate, come to the Bills.
Now, that sounds a little bit interesting to me.
Now let's throw it onto you. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it was interesting. There was a clear decision made because at the same time we saw the release of Von Miller as part of some sort of cap maneuvering that the Bills were doing. They saved a bit of money, and it is a roll of the dice though. Like $12.6 million, Joey Bosa for 1 year. Opportunity for Joey Bosa to show that he's still good and durable enough to play, and he could be playing for a bigger contract at the end of this 1 year. If he stays healthy, he can be a difference maker. That's just the truth. If he gets sacks, he gets pressures, tackles for loss, his stat sheet speaks for itself. But the big thing on his stat sheet is 23 games that he did not play in the last 3 years, which is a lot of football to miss with injury. And it's like hamstring, toe, foot sprain. I think he had a 9-week foot sprain at one point. So he absolutely is now one of those players that is prone to injury. But I think maybe one other stat about those games missed that maybe the Bills were paying attention to. He did play 14 games last season. So as far as his injury history goes, it is trending back to being more fit than unfit. And I think he started in all of those 14 games and did have some great play as well. So I do think he is a good option for the Bills, who desperately need something on that defensive front. They need an edge rusher that can get home. Von Miller actually had a pretty good season last season.
Finished off pretty well.
But whether or not he was worth the cap space that he was taking, that they would have to spend on him compared to, say, Joey Bosa, I think if Joey Bosa stays healthy, you'd take Joey Bosa.
Yeah. Like you said, he's a difference maker, but there's a big if there. So we'll see what happens. The last one I wanted to speak about is Justin Fields to the Jets, 2 years, $40 million. And the funniest thing out of this is they've replaced a Packer with a Bear, Danny boy.
Yeah, maybe funny for you. I think it's more funny for the Steelers. I reckon they went and made a huge mistake when they benched Fields earlier in the season. He had a winning record, was playing well, and now he's gone to the Jets. Obviously, the Jets, but at least Fields is going to have a home. He will definitely clearly be the starting quarterback. He signed a 2-year, $40 million deal. More importantly, though, the Steelers are traveling to New York, New Jersey, to play the Jets. So the Steelers going to play them. Absolute revenge game. Just think of the multis we can have on Fields. I reckon he'll play out of his mind to make sure to prove to the Steelers that they should have signed him.
I think touching on what you said there, Danny, if you look at his stats last season versus Russell Wilson's, his stats were better than Russell Wilson's for the games that he played. And there was a lot of excitement that when Russell Wilson replaced him, they did have some good wins. There were some flashy throws. But as far as helping the Steelers win, Fields did more than Wilson did. And I think he's been undervalued for a while. And, you know, it also says something about Aaron Glenn. It says something about the way that the Jets are going to operate. They were pretty quick to get rid of Rodgers. They don't want that trouble. And I think they would see the potential in Fields to work really hard and be that kind of quarterback. And you think about the experience Aaron Glenn had at the Lions with probably an underrated, undervalued quarterback, but seeing if you build the right team around them and have the right attitude, you can get great results. You know, and I do think Fields has been underrated for a long time.
It just says a lot when, you know, the likes of Wilson and Rodgers, the teams are paying $40+ million for you to not be there. That says a lot to me. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. And, hey, you never know. Fields could save the Jets. Some more news, Danny boy. This one is all you. The Colts have signed Daniel Jones to a 1-year, $14 million, just showing that he has the best agent ever.
It's got to be his agent. It definitely isn't his football, is it? How are the Colts paying him $14 million for 1 year?
It's ridiculous. I don't even want to talk about it. That's how ridiculous it is because he's so I don't know how the fuck he's getting $14 million. It just he's getting nearly as much as Tom Brady did in his last few years, which is unreal. So the real quarterback
I definitely pay more for Tom Brady now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. 47-year-old Tom Brady's better. The real one we want to talk about is to you, Charlie. Your QB got absolute bag. His last 100 days, he's been engaged, won an MVP, and got an extension for $330 over 6 years. Quickly, happy or not?
Very happy for a few reasons. Number one, $250 million guaranteed. The big winners of that, the Browns, who no longer have paid the most guaranteed money to a quarterback. So they'll be relaxed that they're not in the record books for that. But I actually think it was a cheap deal. And there were interviews with Josh Allen today saying that he could have asked for more money, but he believes in keeping the core of the team together and winning a Super Bowl. And for him to take a pay cut and only get $55 million a year, I respect that. Like, he'll be doing it tough. He'll be eating 2-minute noodles, but the Bills definitely appreciate it. We've got until 2030. I don't think he'll ever go anywhere else. I don't think there's any real reason for him to play for another team. He's not interested in that. But it is, utterly justified and just good, actually, for the team to be able to create some cap space so they can sign more players this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Charlie, you do have to go shortly, so we're going to move a segment up. Danny boy, we've got some quarterbacks we're going to talk about once Charles leaves. But, Charlie, this is your baby, so I'm going to let you run with it straight away. We're going to do way too early Super Bowl picks.
That's right. Thoughts? Based only what has happened so far in the trade period and free agency, we are going to pick our Super Bowl winners. Who do we think? Well, maybe not winners. Who do we think is going to play in the Super Bowl? AFC, NFC champs. And let's put a bet on it. All right? So I don't gamble with money. Let's gamble with a thing. We talked about a food-based bet. So do we want to make it a burger bet?
Yes, I'm all about that.
All right. So whoever wins or comes the closest gets a burger. All right.
Charles, will you lead us off there, mate?
I will lead you off. Having a look at the trades.
Does that mean when I win, I get 2 burgers because you're both buying me a burger? Do I get a little double burger at once?
Okay, maybe. Yeah, all right. 2 burgers. Or maybe one does burgers, one does fries.
Yeah, okay, fair.
All right. So I'm going to lead off, and it's based on trades that we've actually talked about today, and also based on the way that they were playing towards the end of last season. My tip for the Super Bowl is Rams-Bills.
Oof.
I think Devontae Adams is going to work out. Bear in mind, Devontae Adams only has to be a number 2 behind Puka Nacua.
It has changed to number 12, so Adams can have his 17. Just that little connection.
So this is a stacked receiver core now. Like, they are 2 dangerous receivers. You have to account for Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. That's going to be tough. Stafford is playing great football. He chose to be with the Rams to try and win another Super Bowl. I do think they are the standout roster so far for the NFC. And the Bills, their offense has improved in the last few days, but they were the highest scoring offense in the NFL last year. They didn't have to improve too much. And they are solving some problems on the defense. I think they're still a cornerback short. They traded Kyrie Elam to the Cowboys. But my tip, Rams, Bills.
Danny boy.
So obviously, Charlie went for a homer. I'm going to go for a homer too. So the Eagles going to be my first one. And the main reason for that is because we picked up AJ Dillon from your Packers. And now we've got Quad City. You got Jalen Hurts, who can squat 1 billion pounds. You got Saquon Barkley. His quads are bigger than my head. And now you got AJ Dillon. We can start running the push-tush from 1st and 10. We're going to get it. Like that's the sort of energy that they're going to be pushing behind Jalen Hurts. So if you can run a push every single play and score, have it. So we're obviously just going to make it back purely on offense because our defense got blown the fuck up. Secondly, is going to be the Ravens. A couple of ones we didn't talk about, but D-Hop has actually gone to the Ravens. And I think this is a really important addition that Lamar Jackson probably needed. He had Zay Flowers out there, but you have him, Mark Andrews, and King Henry. That is a dominant offense. And I'm sure they're going to keep on shoring up their defense as they go. So, yeah, I think it's going to be their final thing to get over the hump and to actually make it to the bowl.
Interesting. Well, you two are both and picked your own team. So I'm going to be the only one who actually was serious about this one. I've agreed with you, Danny boy. The Ravens adding D-Hop in there. They actually tweeted a photo about 5 years ago of King Henry, D-Hop, and Lamar going, how good would this trio be? It's now happened. And I think they will be better together than what they have picked up in the last few years. So I do think the Ravens do take that next step and make it. And, of course, the Packers on the other side, because although we haven't spoken about it, we had 3 needs. A guard, we got a guard. We needed another edge rusher, we've got another edge rusher. Cornerback is something we need to address, but I think that we'll be able to do that in the draft or, again, through agency. And Cooper Kupp's probably going to come to the Packers, so there's our wide receiver fixed. We kept the Eagles to 21 points in the playoffs, the only team to do so, so we fixed that offense and we're going all the way, baby.
I think that is a pretty good. That's a pretty good pick, and I think it'll make you feel good right up until the Commanders knock you out in the divisional. Apart from that, it's a great pick.
The
great
Commanders? Pick. Yeah, they'll probably will, actually. That's pretty cool.
Even
I got to go, guys.
The Commanders, man. Like, let's be real. The Commanders, here they come.
Yeah.
Burgers and fries on the line next Super Bowl.
Love it. Love it.
All right. I'll catch you soon, guys.
All right, Danny boy. We've got some quarterback roundabout that we are going to finish off. There's still a few teams that still have some quarterback needs. What are you looking at, mate?
Yeah, so like just to hit this super quick, I'm just going to hit you with the teams and the quarterback that I think is going to go there. So I'm going to start off with the Steelers. Obviously, big quarterback hole because they haven't signed Wilson. They let Justin Fields go. I reckon your boy Aaron Rodgers is going to go there because the Steelers are just constantly picking up chips here. So they got Slay, DK Metcalf, Gainwell, just to name a few, but the list keeps on growing. The Steelers are actually significantly improving their offense. And what a way to ruin it by signing Rodgers. It'd be perfect. It'd be absolutely perfect. I keep on saying the Steelers aren't going to have a winning season. This might be the reason why. We'll find out.
And they picked up Wilson. They love a QB that's getting paid elsewhere to be there.
Exactly. So you might be able to get him on a cheaper deal. Like it's just a perfect story. It's a perfect NFL story. Next, the Browns. You know, Myles Garrett came back. They're going to have to do something. They don't really have a QB. Like, let's not talk about the one that's currently on their books. The one that has actually been closest rumored to heading there is big old Kirk Cousins. First story I ever heard about him this whole offseason, because he's essentially done nothing since being cut from the Falcons, is that he's been linked to the Browns. So honestly, I think he's going there. Now, with Rodgers going to the Steelers, Wilson needs a home. I think he's going to go to the Vikings just because, as we said earlier, JJ McCarthy needs a vet QB there because potentially he might re-injure himself. He is still a rookie. You know, at least have a vet in that locker room. And I can't really see Wilson finding another home. I know what you're thinking. You're like, he can find another home. He can go to the Giants. You know what the Giants are going to do? They're going to sign no one because they're the New York Giants.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to play Malik Neighbors as their QB.
Didn't they sign the guy who does this?
Yeah, Tommy DeVito, he's their only QB currently. So unreal for them. But yeah, I like the Kirk going to the Browns. That does seem very Kirk James, Kirk Cousins, go there. Do they have any money left?
Is he still not getting paid by the Falcons? I think he is.
That'll be a very good point. So that's a nice little thing there. So yeah, and Wilson going to the Vikings. He'll go there, try and fight for a first, maybe start with it. Then he'll go shit, and they'll put McCarthy in. So, and then he'll piss off somewhere else next year.
Perfect. The only thing that would have been better if Rodgers had gone to the Vikings, but I just think because of the whole Brett Favre thing, he's not ever going to get there, is he? Like that would be the perfect story,
But don't be surprised if it does.
Go to the Jets, fail. Go to the Vikings. It's just like picture perfect story.
If he goes to the Vikings and fail, that's incredible in my books.
It's what you're rooting for. You can't say that. He's your boy.
Yeah, I do love him, but I hate the Vikings. So, is what it is. All right, mate. Beautiful. Like I said, it was just too juicy of a week not get on here and chat. So nice, quick one, in and out. Some music for our ears just to hear us on the sound waves again. We're flying, mate. We're on TV. We got meetings happening in the background. We've got interviews coming. So it's going to be a big few weeks leading into the draft. And as always, love having you on here, mate.
And go Birds.